Right, so for tonight's planting we're going to be doing a rose apple. This one will be counted unlike yesterday's one because it's a nice healthy little one. This is going into a dense thicket of Nephrolepis in my general thicket area. This is actually hopefully going to mean that it can go from both low light to lots of light, because these ferns, although they will shade it densely year round, a lot of the other trees around here are quite deciduous, so it will have a period of relatively bright light once it's above those, but it'll always have that insurance of that dense thicket covering about the first metre off the ground to keep it well shaded. It doesn't really need much in the way of companion plants because there is a dense multi-species thicket here, but just to mark it out I'm going to be putting some pieces of Devil's Backbone Euphorbia tithymaloides in, just to be something distinct from the rest of the area, because I did plant a peach tree in the same general area a while ago, and for years I thought it had died, and then I realised it was just a metre away from where I thought I had planted it, lost in the ferns. Because it is the second to last planting of the year, I wanted to plant something a little bit more distinct, so I thought I would plant something that I've been meaning to plant for years and finally managed to get my hands on at the beginning of this year, although I had my hands on a seedling and some cuttings, and the cuttings, although they took, didn't survive one of my unexpected absences, but the seedling has sprung back and I do want to get it in the ground where it should be more stable once it is established. And this is native, so it should establish well. It is from dry woodlands. I'm concerned it might be vulnerable to the mole rats, but unfortunately cement rubble will be quite alkaline, and this, wherever I've seen it growing, has been in quite acid soils. So I'm going to be using some pieces of red brick rubble at the very base of this. We don't have much red brick rubble, so I don't really have enough to line the entire hole, but I do have a plan, so more on that later. So this is Dracaena mannii. It is a relatively slow growing under canopy Dracaena. It will grow in open areas in some places, often along the sort of waterfall areas, but very often when I've seen mature ones they have been in fairly dense canopied woodland and dry forest, and they really thrive as a sub-canopy tree. A lot of the Dracaenas do have medicinal uses, and I'm sure this probably does apply here as well. The only one I'm aware of is that this is quite a popular one in parts of northern Zambia. As a toothbrush, you can just break off a twig, fray the end of it, and use it as a toothbrush. Fresh and green, it's not particularly toxic, it's not particularly strong tasting, so it's quite a good way to achieve dental hygiene in a pinch. But it's just quite a nice native tree, and it should hopefully enjoy this environment and produce more. And yeah, I quite like the look of them when they are mature, although that will take a very long time. I did want to give it some native companion plants. We're going to be starting with one of Zambezi Flora's Siphonocallis plants. This should, I think, be Siphonocallis aethiopicus, which is medicinal, but as far as I know, not edible, although it smells like it really should be because it smells fantastic. So this is actually annual leaf, so the leaves will die right back during the dry season, so I do want something with a permanent presence above the ground just to keep this a little bit more shaded. So we're going to be putting in two of the Sansevieras, which are technically also Dracaenas. Both of these are native, so we've got Sanseviera kirkii, which is the slightly larger one, and Sanseviera holly, which is the slightly smaller one. They also both have the ball type flowers, so they are fairly similar even when full grown, although the holly will have quite a different shape leaf overall and growth form of the leaf once it is a bit more mature than this. But those are also somewhat vulnerable to mole rats, so because our main protection is currently from underneath and mole rats can also come in from the side, I'm going to then be putting all of these in a cage made of Euphorbia tithymaloides, so the devil's backbone. So we're going to be putting 16 pieces, 17 because one of them broke, all around the edge of this, so that if any mole rats do explore this area, which they don't often because the chickens love this area and mole rats do not like the chickens, then they will bump into this first and decide they don't really want to eat what's beyond this. This has worked with a couple of other things I've planted so far, so I'm hoping it'll carry on working here. And also this has the added benefit of being somewhat chicken-proof, because they also don't like pushing through this stuff. Right, so that should be everything for tonight, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you haven't enjoyed it, thank you for watching anyway. Please tune in again tomorrow, because I will be planting something else. I do have a sort of plan, it's still kind of vague, but we'll see.